All right, students. So our today's topic is IS 23, that is borrowing cost. Borrowing cost is actually an interest expense, but normally interest expense is charged to P&L uh, for each year. But this borrowing cost is a specific type of interest expense which is not actually treated as a simple expense, and it is not recorded and not charged to P&L. The IS 23 borrowing costs actually covers the specific nature of interest expense that we capitalize and make it the part and parcel of the cost of non-current assets. So first of all, we need to understand the objective of IS 23. Objective of this IS is to prescribe the accounting treatment for borrowing cost. Borrowing costs are interest and other costs that an entity incurs in connection with the borrowing of funds, and that funds are actually applied to the construction of the specific asset to the certain assets, and those assets are termed as self constructed assets. So keep remember, if we make it very clear, borrowing cost is on a loan. Borrowing cost is an interest expense which is on loan, and this loan taken for the construction of, and this loan is specifically taken for the construction of self-constructed assets, and these self-constructed assets should meet the qualification of qualifying asset, and the certain is asset would be the qualifying asset. Now what exactly do you mean by this qualifying asset? So a qualifying asset is an asset that takes a substantial period of time to get ready for its intended use or sale. Means, as we said, that borrowing cost is calculated on the loan and the loan taken for the construction of the self-constructed asset, but that asset should be the qualifying asset. And qualifying asset is the asset which takes substantial period of time to complete for intended use or sale. Second point, the asset could be property, plant, and equipment, and any investment property during the construction period, intangible assets during development period, or made to order inventories. So all these would be considered as qualifying asset, which actually takes substantial period of time to get ready for its intended use or sale, and these assets are actually take substantial period of time for construction. So we can say that if we construct an asset by taking loan, and so it means on such loans, when the interest expense is calculated, that interest expense would be treated as the borrowing cost, and that borrowing cost is not to be charged to P&L, but the borrowing cost is should be added to the cost of asset, and this and that borrowing cost should be the part and parcel of the asset. It means it is to be reported in the balance sheet as a non-current assets. So hopefully you got the crux of this IS. The next thing to understand is that capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset. As we just discussed, that this borrowing cost should be added to the cost of asset and to be reported in the SOFP for the year. So it means borrowing cost is not charged to P&L. Basically, borrowing cost is to be capitalized in the cost of asset. Borrowing costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition, construction, or production of a qualifying asset, the asset should be the qualifying asset from part of the other cost, and therefore should be capitalized. Other borrowing costs are recognized as an expense. Any other borrowing cost which is not pertaining to the construction of the specific asset, which is not pertaining to the qualifying asset, that type of borrowing cost should be expensed out. But the borrowing cost which incurs for the construction of a qualifying asset, that type of cost should be included to the cost of asset. Next, borrowing cost and interest expense on short term investment of funds. Now what happens is, let's say you actually took a loan of 1 million for the construction of a specific asset, and the construction time period for that asset is let's say 12 months time period, and you are only required to incur 500,000 from the 1 million acquired loan. You just need to incur 500,000 for the first 6 months and the remaining 500,000 for the last 6 months. So it means from a total of 1 million loan, the first 500 are used, and the 500,000 are idle funds. So being a businessman, you don't you will take the opportunity from these idle funds. You will be investing these funds on a short term basis. So it means the borrowing cost. Now what exactly will be the treatment of the interest income on short term investment and the borrowing cost? So keep remember, costs eligible for capitalization are the actual cost incurred less any income earned on the temporary investment on such borrowings. Now let's conclude the things. Let's say you acquired a loan of 1 million, interest rate is 10%, and construction period 1 year, idle funds are 500,000 and invested on short term at 5%. Now what will happen, how we can reach all the things, how we can find the net borrowing cost? So first of all, we'll be taking the borrowing cost, then do deduct the interest income on short term investment. After deducting the interest income on short term borrowing, you will be end up with the net borrowing cost, and this net borrowing cost should be capitalized to the cost of asset. If we talk about, if we take the figures, on a loan of 1 million, if the interest rate is 10%, so 100,000 would be your like borrowing cost, interest expense, and you invested 500,000 on a short term basis. And keep remember, idle funds are for 500,000 for 6 months and invested on short term basis at 5% for 6 months. So if we take the figures, you invested 500,000 on a 5%, so it means its value is 250. Its value is 25,000. If we take if we do multiply 500,000 into 5%, so its value is 25,000, and you invested this amount for a period of 6 months. So multiplying this value into 6 upon 12, in fact, you earned an income of 12,500. That income is the interest income on short term borrowings, and after deducting this income from the borrowing cost, so it means 87,500 of borrowing cost should be capitalized. This amount, net borrowing cost, should be capitalized, and capitalized means this amount should be added to the cost of non current asset. So keeping the things in mind, you have 5 minutes time to attempt this question, and after 5 minutes I will start discussing this question, as this question is actually having the same things as we discussed in above slide. So you can read the requirement is ignore compounding interest, calculate the borrowing cost which may be capitalized for each of the assets and consequently to the cost of asset as at 31st December 2006. There are effectively two requirements in this question. First of all, need calculate the borrowing cost, and then find the cost of each asset as at 31st December 2006. You guys have 2 minutes time to attempt this question. After that I will start discussing the same question. So let's start discussing about case study 1. Ignore compound interest, calculate the borrowing cost which may be capitalized for each of the assets, and consequently the cost of each asset as at 31st December 2006. Year end date is 31st December 2006. On 1st Jan 2006, S company borrowed 1.5 million to finance the production of two assets, both of which were expected to take a year to build. This thing shows they are qualifying asset. Why they are qualifying asset? Because they are taking substantial period of time to complete. The loan facility was drawn down and incurred on 1st Jan 2006 and was utilized as follows, with the remaining funds invested temporarily. This thing is important. Actually, company borrowed 1.5 million and they are actually constructing two assets, and the remaining idle funds are invested temporarily. Means the entity will be getting interest income on the short term investments. Asset A and asset B, 1st Jan 2006, asset A is being constructed using 500 and asset B constructed using 1000. So effectively 1.5 million is consumed, is used in this way. And on asset A, 250,000 is required to incur on 1st Jan 2006 and remaining 250 is required to incur on 1st July 2006. It means this 260 is idle for the first 6 months. So it means the idle funds, the entity can invest the idle funds for short term purposes, and the loan rate was 9% on the fund we borrowed, and the company can invest surplus funds at 7%. And acid bay is actually utilized in a way, from 1000 first 500 are to be incurred on 1st Jan 2006, and the 500,000 are required to incurred on 1st July 2006. So it means this 500 is idle for 6 months. So how we can attempt this question? First of all, as there are two assets, so we are actually working in two columns, column A for asset A and column 2 for asset B. Calculate the cost of borrowing. Calculate the cost of borrowing for the year. As we know, asset A, borrowing cost on asset A constructed for 500,000 in total into the interest rate is 9% and it's a complete 12 months interest that amounts 45,000. Asset B is being constructed for a total value of 1 million into 9% into complete 12 months interest. So its value is 90,000. And now what we need to do, we shall deduct the investment income on short-term investment. Investment income on short-term investments. How we can find this? Again, I'm taking asset A and asset B. I'm treating asset A and B separately. Asset A first, this 250 are required to use on 1st July 2006. Means the amount of 250,000 is idle and can be invested shortly at 7%, and the investment time period is 6 months. Why 6 months? You can check the difference. These 250 are being incurred after a period of 6 months. So effectively 8750 would be the interest income. And from asset B, asset B idle funds for the first 6 months are 500,000 and can be invested on a short term 7%, and time period is 6 months, and the value of this investment income is 17,500. So if we deduct from the total interest expense of 45,000, if we deduct, then the net borrowing cost is calculated. That is 36250, and 72,500. We just solved the first requirement of this question. We just solved the first requirement of this question. Now let's talk about the second one to find the cost of each asset. So again, I'm marking two headings here. We are gonna find total cost of asset A and B. First of all, loan amount used for the construction of asset A, that is 500,000, and for asset B, that is 1 million. And in this loan amount, at the net borrowing cost, because we studied that IS 23 says the borrowing cost which incurred on qualifying asset, which arose due to a qualifying asset, that borrowing cost should be added to the cost of asset with the loan amount. As asset A is being constructed using a loan amount of 500,000, so effectively the net borrowing cost is calculated on such loan is 36250. I'm taking this figure. And for asset B, net borrowing cost amount is 72,500. So effectively, by adding interest cost to the cost of asset, we will end up with the total cost of asset A and B that amounts 536,250 and 107,2500. Okay, good. Now we have three headings like commencement of capitalization, suspension of capitalization, and cessation of capitalization. All these three things are pertaining to the borrowing cost to the cost of asset. If we complete the heading, commencement of capitalization of borrowing cost, capitalization, commencement of capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset means when and how an entity have to commence to capitalize the borrowing cost to the cost of asset. So keep remember, we have few points regarding this. When the actual expenditure are being incurred, borrowing costs are being incurred, and activities that are necessary to prepare the asset for its intended use or sale are in progress, and may include some activities prior to commencement of physical production. Now let's say, creating a scenario, we acquired a loan on 1st Jan 2021 for the construction of an asset. Expense is actually start arising on the same date when we acquire loan. And keep remember, I'm repeating the date. We acquired a loan on 1st Jan 2021, but the asset construction is effectively started from the 1st March 2021. Means effectively the asset is being constructed from after 2 months of the loan acquisition date. We acquired loan on 1st Jan 2021, but its asset is being prepared from 1st March 2021, effectively from 2 months after 2 months of the loan acquisition date. So from which date we should start the capitalization of the borrowing cost to the cost of asset? Keep remember, borrowing cost should be we should be capitalizing the borrowing cost from the 1st March when the asset is when the entity started constructing the asset. We cannot actually add the first 2 months interest expense to the cost of asset. Why? Because asset was not being started. The company has not started the construction of the asset in the on from 1st Jan. The effective construction date is 1st March. So there is a question which should come to our mind. So what would be the treatment of the first 2 months interest expense? Because we acquired loan from on 1st Jan 2021. So the interest expense of Jan 21 and the Feb 21, what should be the treatment for of the interest expense of the first 2 months? So keep remember, first 2 months interest expense would be charged to P&L as normal interest expense. That interest expense should not be added to the cost of asset. Why? Because the activities that are necessary to prepare the asset are effectively started from 1st March. So we cannot add first 2 months interest to the cost of asset. So it's all about the commencement of capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Now, let's talk about the suspension of borrowing cost. Suspension of borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Suspend means stopping temporarily. When anything is stopped temporarily, that's called suspension. Suspended. Let's say company started constructing asset from 1st March 2021, and the qualifying time period and the estimated time for the completion of asset is like 12 months time. Means if company started construction on 1st March 2021, so the effective date of the construction completion date is 28th Feb 2022. But within this 12 months span of time, let's say due to any reason, due to COVID, due to any other reason, construction activities stopped for 2 months. Now, if the construction has stopped for 2 months, so what should be the treatment of the interest expense of those 2 months? Let's say construction started on March, April, May, but June and July are the months where the construction was stopped due to XYZ reason. We are not bothered about the reason. We are just saying that we are assuming that for the month of July and August, asset was not constructed. So keep remember, IS 23 says if the active development, if the active construction of an asset is actually stopped for is actually stopped for the time being, for short term, if the active activities of the construction of assets suspended, then the borrowing cost, the interest expense for such period should not be capitalized. For interest expense for such period should not be capitalized, and it should be charged to P&L as a normal interest expense. So read these points, please. Suspension of capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Capitalization should be suspended during the periods in which active development is interrupted. These 2 points effectively should not be here. These 2 points should be the part and parcel of this cessation of capitalization. It's actually a typo error. These 2 points should be covered in the cessation of capitalization, but not in the suspension of capitalization. So hopefully the concept of suspension of capitalization is crystal clear to you. Now, let's talk about the cessation of capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Now, what exactly is this cessation? Cessation means stopping completely. From when an entity should completely stop the capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Means from when an entity will not be adding this borrowing cost to the cost of asset. It means when the company will cease the capitalization of borrowing cost to the cost of asset, where construction is completed in stages which can be used while construction of the other parts continues. Capitalization of the attributable borrowing cost should cease when substantially all the activities necessary to prepare that part of uh, for its intended use or for complete. And from these 2 points from above, that should be covered over here in the heading of cessation of capitalization. Capitalization should be ceased when substantially all the activities necessary to prepare the asset for the intended use or for sale are complete. If minor modifications are outstanding, it indicates that substantially all the activities are complete. Now let's take an example. We are constructed actually a 10-floor building, and we are a construction company, and we are constructing a 10-floor building. And for the construction of 10-floor building, we acquired a loan. And the major activities is the structure of the building. Major construction time period that will take in the construction of the floors. the major activities is the preparation of the structure of the building. And if the structure of the building is mainly completed, so from that time period, we have to seize the capitalization of the borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Why? Because the major activities is the construction of the structure of building. Even if there are if there are modifications, and if there are modifications are outstanding, like we need to color the building, and there is some wooden work, and all these minor modification or major modifications, if outstanding, still we shall seize the capitalization of the borrowing cost to the cost of asset, because the major part has now completed, and the major part of the building was the structure of the building. So from that date, when the structure of the building is completed, from that date, a company, an entity should seize the capitalization of the borrowing cost to the cost of asset. Now, uh, disclosures. IS 20 IS 20 is IS 23 is disclosures. The accounting policy adopted required only until 1st Jan 2009 if immediately exposed expensing model is used. Now, these two disclosures are required under IS 23: amount of borrowing cost capitalized during the period and the capitalization rate used. So, these two things are required to show in the financial statement, in the heading, in the notes to the accounts or disclosure to the financial statement, that how much borrowing cost is capitalized during the year, and what was the capitalization rate. These two things are mandatory to show in the disclosure by an entity in each financial statements. So here we have case study 2. Case study 2, requirement of this question is to compute the borrowing cost that need to capitalize under IS 23. On December 1, 2004, C Incorporation began construction of homes for those families that were hit by the disaster, by the tsunami disaster, and were homeless. The construction is expected to take 3.5 years. It's a substantial time. It is being financed by the issuance of bonds of 7 million at 12% per annum. The bonds were issued at the beginning of the construction. The project is also financed by the issuance of share capital with a 14% cost of capital. Keep remember, we are talking about IS 23. That's about the borrowing cost. And if the any issuance of share capital, even given in question, so we are not bothered about that. Just ignore in the ambit of IS 23. C Incorporation has opted under IS 23 to capitalize the borrowing cost. So keep remember, important points are the loan notes amount and the expected time. So it's very simple thing how we can calculate the borrowing cost. As you know that 7 million means 7,000, and interest rate is 12% per annum, and directly multiplying with the total time of construction, that is 3.5 years, so its value is 2940. And if we check for the investment income which an entity can earn on the short term investments, but in this question there is no investment income given in question, so effectively net borrowing cost is a value of 2940. If we check for the total cost of the asset, so total cost of asset is the loan amount that is required for the construction and add the net borrowing cost, that is 2940. Effectively 9940 would be the total cost of this asset. We have this case study 3, and again you have 5 minutes time to attempt this question. After 5 minutes I will start discussing this case study 3. Requirement: calculate the total income, total amount to be included at cost in the property, plant and equipment in respect of the development at 31st December 2005. Year end date is 31st December and 2005, and on 1st Jan 2001, S began to construct a supermarket which had an estimated useful life of 40 years. It purchased a leasehold interest in the site for 25 million. The construction of the building cost 9 million. The construction of the building cost is 9 million, and the fixture and fittings cost 6 million. So effectively total cost is 25, 9 and 6. That effectively is a sum of 40. The construction of the supermarket was completed on 30th September 2005, started on 1st Jan 2005, completed on 30th September 2005, and brought into use on 1st Jan 2006. We are not actually bothered about the use of the asset. The important date is the construction time period, and the construction is started and the construction completed time period. That is effectively a time period of 9 months. If we do take the difference from the start till the completion, so it's actually a 9 months time period. Company borrowed 40 million on 1st Jan 2005 in order to finance this project. The loan carried interest rate at 10%. It was paid on 30th June 2000 and repaid on 30th June 2006. So you can see total asset construction cost for land acquired for 25 million. Then construction cost for this 9,000, and fixture and fittings is of 6,000. So the total cost of asset is effectively a sum of 40,000, and for the same company borrowed 40 million funds. In the cost of asset, add the borrowing cost, and after addition of the borrowing cost, so the total cost of asset would be X amount. But now the important thing, borrowing cost, what should be the borrowing cost? Should it be calculated on 40 million into 10%? No. Borrowing cost is always calculated on the qualifying asset, and qualifying asset is an asset which takes substantial time to complete. Now you can see the land element is not the qualifying asset. Why? Because land purchased, that's it. Fixture and fittings are journal and normal modifications. So effectively the construction time period is 9 months time period, and the qualifying asset is the construction of the building. And for the construction of building, 9 million is the cost on which qualifying asset would be the 9 million, on which we have to find this borrowing cost at 10% into. But keep remember, construction time period is actually the 9 months time period. So this rate of 10% is for a period of 12 months. So multiplying it with the construction time period, effectively 675 of the borrowing cost is calculated and added to the cost of asset, and effectively the total cost of the asset would be 40675. Keep remember, borrowing cost should not be calculated on the total value, because the borrowing cost is always calculated on the qualifying asset, and in this scenario, qualifying asset is a construction of the building which takes substantial time period to complete, and for this qualifying asset the value is 9,000 to be multiplied with the interest rate, and for the construction time period, which is 9 months. So I hope you are getting my points, and you did well in this way. I'm repeating again. If an entity want to borrow funds, the funds can be borrowed into two manners: the general borrowing and the specific borrowing. What exactly do you mean by this specific borrowing? It is a project specific borrowing at a specified rate. But if we talk about the general borrowing means an entity is actually acquiring loan from different bank or the financial institution. For example, 15 million at 10%, 10 million acquired at 9.5% interest, and 25 million of loan amount acquired from third source at 9%. So in total, 50 million is actually incurred on a project, and but you can see the loan, the interest rates are now different. Next, the question arises that on what percentage we have to calculate the borrowing cost or interest expense. Keep remember, in this situation we will use the weighted average rate. We will not use the 10% or the 9.5% or the 9%. If an entity borrowed funds from different sources, in that scenario we calculate the weighted average rate. How this weighted average rate is calculated? If you see, the first loan amount is 15 from a total of 50 million, into this loan acquired at a rate of 10% plus second loan amount is 10 million from a total of 50 into its rate, that is 9.5%, plus third loan amount is 25 million from a total of 50, and this loan acquired at a rate of 9%. If you solve this fraction, so effectively you will end up with a weighted average rate of 9.4%. So for further calculation, for the calculation of borrowing cost, use this weighted average rate and do ignore all rest of the rates which are 10, 9.5 or the 9%. In general borrowing, then use the weighted average rate as just calculated above. So keeping in mind these things, we have a case study number 4, and I'm giving you time, 5 minutes time to attempt this question. After that I will start discussing, and it will be a last question for this IS 23 borrowing cost. In case study 4, required, how would it capitalize the borrowing cost and what would it do with the investment income? Let's do the scenario. A socially responsible multinational corporation MNC decided to construct a tunnel that will link two sides of the village that were separated by a natural disaster years ago. Realizing its role as a good corporate citizen, the MNC has been in the village for a couple of years exploring oil and gas in the nearby offshore area. The tunnel would take a 2 years time. I was looking for this thing. So is that asset would be a qualifying asset because it's taking substantial time period to complete. The tunnel would take 2 years time to build, and the total capital outlay for the construction was not less than 20 million. To allow itself a margin of safety, the MNC borrowed 22 million. Keep remember, the asset would be constructed at a total cost of 20 million. But to allow itself a margin of safety, the MNC borrowed 22 million from three sources and used the extra 2 million for its working capital purposes. Financing was arranged in this way. How the company actually borrowed this 22 million, bank term loan 5 million at 7%. Second source is 7 million at 8%, that is institutional borrowing, and 10% at 9% per annum, that's for from corporate bond. By issuing corporate bonds, normally we call it like loan notes or the debentures or the term finance certificates. In the first phase of construction of tunnel, there were idle funds of 10 million, which the MNC invested for a period of 6 months, and don't need to calculate investment income because it's already given that income from this investment was 500,000. Remember, when an entity borrowed funds from different sources, in that scenario, first of all, we calculate the weighted average rate. In this scenario, first of all, we calculate the weighted average rate. This weighted average rate is simply calculated 5, 7, and 10. Total is like 22. So first one is 5 upon 22, and first is for 7%, plus second is 7 upon 22, and second rate is 8%, plus third is 10 million divided by 22 million into 9%. So effectively, after solving this fraction, the weighted average rate is 8.2%. But keep remember, the capital amount, the borrowed amount is 22 million, and the required amount for the construction of this tunnel is 20 million. in this scenario in this scenario, we calculated the weighted average rate on the basis of the loan amount of 22 million. But but for the calculation of the borrowing cost, next step is to calculate the borrowing cost. Borrowing cost would be calculated at the amount used to construct the asset, used to construct the tunnel, that is 20 million. Don't take 22 million over here because the excess 2 million is for working capital. That 22 million is used in the calculation of weighted average rate, but that 22 million should not be used in the calculation of borrowing cost, because borrowing cost is actually calculated on the amount of loan that is used for the construction of the asset, and the related amount is 20 million into, multiplied with the weighted average rate, into the construction time period is actually 2 years. So calculate interest expense borrowing cost for 2 years, and total amount is 3280. And from this borrowing cost, do deduct this investment income. And what exactly is this investment income? That's 500, which entity received by investing the idle funds on a temporary basis. Net borrowing cost is calculated as 2780. And lastly, if we talk about the total cost of tunnel, the total cost of tunnel is 20,000 that used for the construction of tunnel, plus any borrowing cost calculated. So effectively 22780 would be the total cost of tunnel.